Good morning, everyone, and welcome to these Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson, and I'll be your guide for today. Today, we are going to do some big questions with tarot and channeling messages as well. I can't help channeling, so if I click into the energies, I have to bring up the messages. So if anyone doesn't know me, I am an intuitive counselor and a reader. So if you want to click on the link below, you can book me one-on-one Zoom calls. And also I am bringing up some masterclasses my guides taught me since I was pretty little, and really it really started when I was 27, and they led me to digging up gold at a beach. And when that happened, I started to listen to them, and then they started to guide me through how to still my mind, how to come into focus, balance, open the pineal gland more, and learn to channel. And so these masterclasses are all about that. And all my guidance that I had, I want to share with you guys so that you can start the channel as well. And I do believe that's why that all happened. So it's kind of like my whole life has come full circle into these masterclasses that are coming up. And I'm really excited about sharing. So there's going to be 4 videos and a couple of tutorial times where you can connect through Zoom in those masterclasses. So let's get into the tarot anyway and see what happens. We're going to ask, what did the eclipse shift? Because I got this message and it was like feeling like the eclipse had made a really big impact on a lot of us. And they were telling me it's because a lot of humanity that have done the shadow work is on this pinnacle. So when a big group like that, even though they're all scattered around the world, actually shifts into taking responsibility for themselves and coming into balance and feeling their way more than, and understanding a lot more about who they are and what their missions are and all that sort of stuff. When that actually happens, there's the whole thing shifts. So all of humanity shifts. So Mother Earth and her connection to humanity shifts. And all we're coming from is the perspective of ourselves with our earth, with the stars. It's all from humanity's perspective. Of course, if I tap into shifts that have happened with animals and stuff like that, there are going to be certain animals that would play a part in this, especially domestic animals. But most animals and that are already living purely in the moment and from their authentic self. So this is more about shifting those that have become warped within their own reality. And that's what this whole game is about. This is why we are coming up to this point, because humanity asked to be shifted so that we didn't have to keep on repeating the same wars and so forth that are going on around the world. We didn't want to do that anymore. So we screamed out for this help. And this would have been back in the last world wars. And then because of that, it gave an opening or a portal for those from higher dimensions to be opened through certain families, born through certain families. And now that we are growing up and we are ready to take on our responsibility, we have this urge, this feeling within us that we have a mission, we have something that we have to do while we're here, because it's kind of like an intricate code that's clicked into us at a specific time that needs to be released. And that's what happened through this eclipse. There was this release or this click of this code that was in us that's just like, holy crap, I am starting to get it now. And it's not that, like, you might go, well, I still don't know what my mission is, but just the intention of the fact that you feel there's something that you need to do, it's going to flip you into more truths of aligning you with people that can actually help guide you into what your mission is and so forth, what you really came here for. Actually, that's what a lot of my intuitive counseling and readings are about, because I do starseed missions. But that aside, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of readers out there. There's a lot of people that have already found their peace within themselves that you might start to merge into. There's literally pockets of spaces in humanity where people literally live in that fifth dimensional higher aspect, but you won't be able to merge in with their communities or anything like that until you've cleared enough, because they won't allow people to come in until they're cleared enough. They're reminding me of when I did the vision quest over in Ohio, and when I stepped away from the warring zone within my mind and into the cave, which was representing the pineal gland, this elder just turned around and was going to shoot whoever came from the warring zone, because no one was to enter the pineal gland unless they had that peace, found that peace within them. That is an intricate part of stepping into these higher frequencies, of knowing how to control the mind and live in the moment. And because that is coming up, it's kind of like, that's where we're at now. You know, those pockets of people that are scattered around the world, or come into groups that are in high protection of their group, and recognizing those souls that are coming in, that are coming from peace. But they said it's also going to happen naturally. There's a trust. There's a version of the mirror reflecting each other. There's a mirror reflecting each other. So this eclipse is actually allowing us to recognize that there is more out there that we can entangle with. Those that have done the work, more out there that we can entangle with, and we can trip up over these groups or pods of people that are already residing in these higher frequencies on Earth. Yes, there's going to be groups that are saying that they are, and really when you get entangled into it, they're still in the warring zone, still in their heads, and still not living in the moment, still not. But there is definitely some that they were already hidden within the valleys, and now they are opening their doors more. It's like there's a release of the heart and opening the doors more. Okay, let's ask Tara anyway. So how did this affect the world? How does this affect the world? Now, the world could be seen, it has to be seen from only humanity's perspective in this reading, because I'm human, right? So what do we call the world then? I mean, there's Mother Earth, right? And then there's the world, where it's the world that you perceive the world to be. So let's get into that, the world that you perceive to be. How did it affect that? In other words, when we look out at the world, it depends on what you interact with. If you interact with the TVs and so forth, then it's going to be a different version. So I'm just trying to fine tune this before I actually ask the cards. Which world are we talking about? The world that these listeners are seeing. And okay, most of the listeners are in a higher vibe anyway, or at least going through the shadow work, or at least done the shadow work, or understanding that there's something they have to do. So let's go from that perspective out to the world. Sorry, had to fine tune that first. Whew. Oh, that card was wanting to come out, but it did. But I'll let it go. If it's going to come out, it'll come out. Hi, Debbie. Hey, Vanda. Good to see you. I had a beautiful reading with Vanda yesterday. Oh, okay. Let's see what the cards have to say about the eclipse and how it affects the world from the perspective of the viewers. Thank you. So we've got a couple of cards that have fallen out. The story. I always feel like when I'm doing this, that the cards are wanting to tell a story. So if you're ever shuffling tarot cards, ask to hear the story that the cards want to share with you. Remember, everything is an extension of energy of yourself anyway. What did the eclipse do? How did the eclipse, shift the world from the perspective of our viewers? Okay, we've got a couple more that's come out here. So we have Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this is interesting. So the perspective of the viewers. Okay, so this is what we've got. We've got the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Page of Pentacles. That's a lot of Earth. That's a lot of world. That's a lot of Pentacles. And the Six of Swords. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, so with the Seven of Pentacles, right? We have been working on a lot of it's shifting us into this abundance. It's so exciting, a gift coming from our outside world coming in. So here we are, we're working on our pentacles and we're wondering, do we keep on working? Do we stop? What are we doing? Are we gathering? Are we harvesting? Where are we actually going? This lady's like sitting here thinking, am I going to harvest and pick up these pentacles on, now? Or do I need to do more work? And they're literally telling me it's a little bit more work, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Something is coming. The Ten of Pentacles is next. This is an abundance card. And interesting to note that there's this kind of like, I don't know. I'm like seeing this parliamental house in the background, like it's a castle of some kind. And I'm feeling like that one path that leads just to that. But then these 10 pentacles are going, no, we're going to shift the viewers into a much more higher frequency and understanding that they always have their own Ten of Pentacles within them, that they can be working on. Okay, so there's grounding happening. So the eclipse is literally shifting us into grounding our abundance on this planet, which is going to gift us something new coming into our reality. So this pentacle is a new pentacle. This gift is a new gift. This is coming from a perspective of recognizing the work that we've already achieved and then feeling into the feeling of abundance. So right here, right now is a really good moment after this eclipse to feel into your abundance, to really start to like embrace that feeling of being never having to worry about abundance. To me is to never have to worry about any sort of monetary gain anymore, to know within our next step and our next step that we're all going to have always going to have what we need in that time. And you might be surrounded with what you need, but then you kind of in your logical mind like feeling like your world's not really sure of what's happening in the future. So that's why if you're staying in the present and you're going, well, I already have the food that I need and the clothes that I have on my back and I'm still feeling safe at the moment, like feeling into that abundance, then you will always keep on stepping into more abundance and a new gift will come. So there's something to do with a gift coming to those that have done the work. That's what I'm feeling of. And it's funny, like this was to do with the world, right? How we perceive the world. And I'm seeing that parliamental building in the background. Maybe they're bringing me to an alignment. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. So there was this moment in time about quite a few years ago. It was before the C hit, the C word hit. It's really interesting because it was like there was this infiltration of learning how to manifest. And there was quite a few of us that had just picked up this understanding that we could manifest. And so then all of a sudden, the parliament, the government started to gift everyone like a few $1,000s each in their bank accounts. It was a relief for something. And I remember at that moment in time thinking, wow, I've just gone into feeling into abundance. And I'm sure there's others out there that are doing the same. And now it's like this, the governmental places or whatever have just gone, oh, we have to wash this over. There's something that they didn't want us to see, but they did it in a way of giving everyone money. So I'm considering with this worldly events kind of thing, whether they're going to be called out enough to have to share some of their wealth. And that's what the eclipse is bringing to humanity, because it's shifting us to a new dimension, a new perspective of life. This card is a Six of Swords, but I see it like it's a journey. It's moving, it's leaving from one place and moving to another. And because we're moving into these higher frequencies, there has to become an alignment of those that are so-called in charge and those that are coming into their own authentic self of leading who they are. And when the worlds collide, right, that there has to be some give and take of energy so that it becomes more balanced. And that those that are so-called in charge, really what they're doing is just hoarding their own wealth and trying to protect themselves, will feel a release when they actually do gift more to the people that they're supposed to be helping. That's an interesting concept, right? Maybe the eclipse is starting to is finding that balance when it comes to material gain, when it comes to material wealth. Ooh, that would be a good thing, right? So I did feel a really good feeling with this, especially if we got the Ten of Pentacles. So here's these people in this background, like holding all of these Ten of Pentacles. And that, you know, through these energies, if they want to progress into higher frequencies and they want to relieve themselves of all the burdens that they're carrying, of feeling like, oh my God, I have to protect and overprotect and watch out for all those people that are going to take what's mine, you know, then to release that, they will have to share it. And here after that comes this new gift. But I also feel like this new gift coming your way is Earth herself gifting you an opportunity to see abundance through her. So our whole perspective changes when we don't have to worry or concern ourselves. There's a release of fear of following rules that kept us contained and growing gardens that give us a nurturing anyway. This eclipse is a pinnacle point. They're showing me, like, and I brought this up in the reading with Vanda yesterday. They're showing me, and they keep showing me at the moment, this particle that's like vibrating, and I saw it in quantum physics. They were showing the scientists had seen this particle, and it's just like doing its usual game, and it's doing the swirly thing, you know how it does that. An atom, anyway, and it's buzzing, and then it sped up faster. And when it sped up fast, all of a sudden it popped out of humanity's ability to be able to see it, because our eyes couldn't see past that frequency. But the particle still existed. And then it would only take us to move into the higher frequencies, which is coming from love of self, to be able to match that frequency where it's spinning faster. And that's where the gifts are. There's something happening there where we flip out of one layer thinking that everything has to be this story, this one path that's in the background here, and into what I was talking about in the last reading, an infinite consciousness of existences and polarities, and which one do you want to hone into? So with that, because your intention has already been on working on yourself to be able to gain the release of tension in your head that feels like abundance is never going to come my way, because the rules are dictating that, and you have to work your bones to it to get that abundance. because that's what that lineal story was saying. To release that and to be open with just sitting in the frequency of abundance could end up bringing in this natural energy where an alignment happens of sharing, so that all parties, victims and perpetrators, are now sharing, and they're bringing me to the two hemispheres of the mind now coming into peace. Oh, we know where, like, the logical mind's all about the material world and the outside world and making our life, our physical body comfortable. Our right hemisphere is all about understanding that we can have any possibility we want. We just need to have the collaboration of the logical brain to ground that possibility into our existence. So when that comes into alignment, here we are, we're having peace, but we're shifting into higher dimensions. So I'm kind of, it's going all over the show here. They're saying, yes, I know you've got the questions here, but it's all integrated as well. So the world will look different to you when you're shifting into a different perspective, because there was something to do with that eclipse that happened that's going to shift. See, there's a point in reference point with that particle that was spinning where it did flip out of our existence. So it did flip. There's a point where it flips into another alternate reality compared to what humanity's consciousness is. So where is that flip within us? They're saying it's right here, right now. This is where we're in this transit place of what do you really want in your reality, where in the past you might have like read up about manifestations or seen The Secret or whatever, and you had a go at it, but you couldn't hold that vibration because there was too much noise around you, keeping you in the limited lineal state, and you didn't recognize that it was to do with you only feeling that there was something to do with a feeling, and you had to shed quite a few layers to be able to get to the heart center of your own heart, to be able to come into the abundance of yourself and knowing who you are, that you're stepping in the right direction, to back yourself in all of your adventures. So your world is changing because you are starting to change from the inside out. My next question is, how did it affect humanity? And I was going to go into the awoken and then the unawoken. We could do that anyway, but I'm really feeling this integral, like they say, this is the problem. Our logical mind wants to segregate everything and compartmentalize things into specific genres. That's why we have fences all over the world, so that we know where our boundaries are and all that sort of stuff. But when we go into the space that this eclipse has brought us into, where we are in the no man's land of any possibilities, it all becomes entangled. So interesting. You know what? I'm going to still pull a couple of other cards on that question, but using another deck. So what did the effect, what did this effect happen? What did the eclipse shift in this world that we're perspecting? These are higher vibrational cards, and they're talking about new earths and stuff like that. So we'll see what comes up with them as well. Hey, Arnie. Hey, Sky. Hey, Joe. Hey, Yannicka, my family. The beautiful family. I feel like I know you guys so well. Okay. Well, that, I love how that just flew out. No. Like, this is so cool. Okay. I love it when the cards reflect exactly what I was saying as well, because it actually helps. These ones come out a bit skiffy, so I'm going to put them over there. Okay, this is what we have. This is what the eclipse shifted. The golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. So here, this is, if we are going to take this into, I'm going to have to merge this, because this is like the world that you're creating and the effects on the awoken. I'm going to have to do it this way, because it seems like a little messy. Sorry about that. But this is where we're at. We're at this point where everything is entangled. The golden child, inner child, tenderness, innocence. So we're coming back to who we truly are as authentic beings. When you're a child, you were your authentic self. Before the program got pulled over your eyes, you were looking at this world with wonder. I literally posted something on my Facebook page this morning of this little girl looking at these really tall trees as she's just walking on this horse, like the horse is walking. She's like looking up, going, wow. Because she suddenly felt like, realized that she was in this body and she could see the magnificence of this world from the perspective of this body, and it looks so beautiful. And when we see our world like that, when we see the world as love like that, the only thing that can come back to us is that reflection of love. It's literally what protects a baby, is the love and the innocence that they have. That's why you want to protect them. That's why if you see a little baby that's like sitting there like a little child, it's no wonder it's all about itself and you're not even its mother. You'll want to go and help it because the innocence is what protects it. The love of this world is what protects love of itself. And we have been taught to not think about loving ourselves. We've been taught to only find love outside of us from somebody else, an external force. And that's what mucked us all up. So rare gifts are coming our way. So something new will be coming, because when you go into that, from the maturity of being who you are now and going through everything that you've gone through, all of a sudden these gifts that should have been ignited when you were a little child and growing in a balanced world, growing up in a balanced world, would have been ignited. We also have the call. So called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So this eclipse is bringing us into being called to do something, which is what I said right at the beginning. We're feeling like there's a call for us, like we're finally starting to recognize, oh my God, now I know where I'm going. I'm going this direction. And when you know within yourself the compass that's leading from your heart's perspective, there's a call, a feeling, a yearning. And then if you've cleared enough of your mind to drop the illusion that you aren't good enough, that you shouldn't be doing this, that the rest of the world will come down on you, if you've peeled away enough of those layers, which is what this pinnacle moment in time where the eclipse did happen, when we drop all of that, then we move into those missions with no fear whatsoever. We can call those out that are doing wrong to us. We have strong boundaries within the love of who we are, and so we no longer fear. The fear literally falls away. So the call that we have, the mission that we wanted to spark up, becomes grounded in this reality. There's also these two that fell out with that one. The create, serving, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So, sorry, because I knew that these two flew out in a really discombobulated way. I love that word now. Big picture thinking, Pleiades in energy, vision, and inspired. Okay, I see. And they came out together. So I'm going to read them together. So this is the Pleiadian energy. So those that are working with Pleiadian beings are going to have a massive opening, a massive awakening at the moment. I know I am. And so it's going to feel a little bit like you're in this conflicting energy of when the logical mind snaps back into place and it's saying to you, oh my God, what about the future? You haven't got all of your ducks in a row. You don't know exactly what's happening. Then it's going to feel this really, really awful feeling. And then you might work through that and you start to cry and you're like, oh my God, I feel so emotional now, because the tension from allowing your logical mind to take lead now is going to really feel uncomfortable from here on out. And so that's why but that's because it's pressurizing you to shush your logical mind so it doesn't play the same game or the same role as what it did in the past, which only led you in the same path of bringing in the same people with the same lessons and all of that, and not really accomplishing the mission and all of that sort of stuff, because it's fear that it doesn't know exactly what's happening. We have to ask that part of ourselves that's seeking something outside of us to show us who we are, to say, shush, we don't need to have someone outside of us to show us who we are. We know within us, we know that our soul will protect us as an innocent baby, right? As an innocent child will protect us. Yeah. So something going on with that is, hey, Diane. Hey, Mona. Hey, David. Good to see you guys. Okay, I'm going to get into the energies of those that aren't awoken. So I kind of integrated the world and humanity that are awoken together there, sorry. But we're going to get into the energies of those that aren't awoken. I'm going to grab my Osho deck for this one. So because everything is changing up, it's not just those that are awoken. There's those that are not seeing the full pictures, that are still trying to live from the outside world, telling them who they are and all of that sort of stuff. Let's see what happens with them. The unawoken, those that are still leading via their logical mind, feeling like the outside world needs to tell them who they are. Just in that statement right there says a lot. It doesn't even sound right, does it? But that's literally how humanity has been living all this time. What is happening with them through this eclipse and not after this eclipse, sorry. What's this eclipse shifting in them? Any more cards, please? Okay, I've got a couple of cards that have come out here. Oh, they are going to have to, okay. So those that are still asleep and still searching outside themselves to make them feel good, they're going to have this inner voice waking up within them. The eclipse, this literally is an eclipse. And it's going to be like this inner voice within them is going to start to talk to them. It's not coming from outside them. It's coming from, and they have the laziness card, which is sitting on a like, this card is somebody who's sitting on ice and it's sharp, and it's not that they're lazy, it's that they're lazy to do it's like it's getting uncomfortable to sit in that vibration now. They can't sit in that vibration for too long when there's so many of us showing a different path or a different story, or showing them that there's different ways of doing things. It's going to become quite, see how he might be sitting there and he thinks he's okay, like he's pretending, I'm okay. I've got my sunnies on and my little pina colada in my hand and my, cushion at my feet and stuff. And here's this polarity game that's happening in the background here, which goes between the two hemispheres. It's literally what chess is all about, this polarity game that we've been playing. And then they're sitting on the shards of ice. So they're going to feel uncomfortable, even if they're pretending that they're not. And then there's the dream card. These three came out together, so I'm just going to read them together. The dream, participation, and patience. This card here is actually a beautiful card, but when I feel into them, the patience card is going to become more and more like, I've been working so hard. When am I ever going to get what I really need, what I really wanted? And how come it's never really coming into fruition? We have the dream, like the dreaming of something that it's like igniting I feel like it's going to ignite their right hemisphere into dreaming what they really want, but there's no grounding here. It's not actually been grounded. So we're still in this etheric world of I wish and hope, and a little bit of ignorance there. But there's this inner voice that's asking them to join with others, to find what they're looking for through others, participate. And also this is a sharing card, and really interesting, right? At the beginning of the reading, I was talking about those that are in charge and still asleep. Sharing their abundance. And here we have participation, learning to share. Caring is sharing, right? Sharing is caring. So I think that it feels like they're still in this dream world of it. That's impossible. That's never, that dream that I have of me just really being at peace and at ease with myself, it's not going to happen. It's going to take a long time. Like I'm feeling that. I'm just going to get a couple more cards out for that one. It's harder for me to tap into them because I'm not usually there anymore. Like I really have flipped out of that way of thinking now a lot more. It's going to become stressful though for them, but they're going to find, and when they go within themselves and listen to this inner voice, a peace will start to come over them, which is going to teach them something new. Okay, how's it going to affect them? How's it going to affect them? We have two cards, and one is the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and then we have the Ace of Wands. So they might end up getting quite... See, Six of Pentacles is that sharing card again, but it was in reverse. So they might be fighting the fact that they need to actually step out and share their knowledge, their wealth, their material gain, so that they can actually gain something, a peace, more of a peaceful mind. It's going, this is the Ace of Wands, which is a new beginning in action, a new beginning grounded on this planet. But I'm feeling like there's this fire that's going to happen within them, and they're just going to go, I can't even explain that. I'm so sorry. I don't want to say something that's not integrated within me, like the feeling that I'm getting. It's like okay, I'm going to say it like this. It's like a tension that's happening, and it's becoming so uncomfortable of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and working and waiting and working and waiting, that tension implodes in on itself, like it will implode in, and then there's a release, and then they can hear, oh my God, there's something else going on here, or they can see in their world, oh my God, there's something going on. So the eclipse is literally showing them a door or a way out of their logical mind just being in charge or looking outside themselves. There's something that's going to bring them inward again, to hear this subtleness of something within them that sheds more light onto how to find balance, something to do with that. Really sorry, guys. I feel like I'm a little bit, maybe that's how they're feeling. Like, I don't know the answer. How am I going to find the answer? Where's the answer coming from? I'm not really sure. I've tried this way. Every time I push this way, and this is the way I've always done it, and it's always worked this way. You know, I've at least got my bills paid this week. I'm still really worried about next week. But there's some sort of they don't know the answer. That sort of feeling. Maybe this whole reading is like that. But the eclipse, and it's shifting them into this kind of discombobulated feeling of what, which is going to spur an inner silence to be able to hear something subtle within themselves, or feel something subtle within themselves even. Okay, what's to come of these changes anyway? So I'm going to release all of that feeling. Maggie, the card reminds me of my daughter. She's having a C-section next week. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Congratulations too, by the way, on a new baby. Okay, I'm just gonna get into this next question. What's to come from these changes? Where are we going with these changes? Like the eclipse opened up literally a portal, like literally opened up this, it was a match of frequency. Okay, so many eclipses has happened in the past, but there's a match of frequency that's happened with those that are awakening, where they have released enough of their shadow self. So when the eclipse actually happens, you actually get to feel into the energies of a change and there's something to do with a body coming over the light to shine. Like that's actually a physical body, right? Like the moon coming over that shows us a different perspective of the sun. So we see just the outside of it and all of its beauty of the energy coming off it. So there's something to do with the awakening of humanity. When we actually see the energy of that or feel into the energy of that, and another body coming in front, they're literally showing me contact, something to do with contact, because there's another physical body coming in front of us to show us our true energy or our true patterns. So this opening or this vortex that's coming could actually align us with physical contact, or those that have done enough of the work to open up the portals within themselves so that they can actually have this conversing, communication through feeling, channeling, and all of that sort of stuff. That's where the missions start to really be awoken, because now we're in conjunction with those that they've been kind of dropping wisdom through dreams and through little coincidences and stuff like that, but now it becomes entangled in with our consciousness. So we become that authentic self that we were as the soul before we were actually born, as well as the logical mind that's holding on to, this is the journey my body went through. So there's something to do with that. Opening up quantum physics, right? All possibilities are right here present in front of us. They have always been that way, but the program snaps us into a specific program. But when the program's warped and not really coming from a balanced situation, it's not being clear. The path that we were looking at was a path that somebody else told us to go on. So we gave away our power. And this is all to do with those that have done the work, gaining back their power. So then they step into no fear, and then they call the others out. You can't be in charge of me. We're all source energy going on a journey. And I know from my own sovereign self that I'm in charge of me. I'm in control of my emotions, and that means I can feel into my feelings of where I really want to go. So this big change is going to happen like that. Okay, let's pull some cards anyway. What cards do we want to pull for this one? I'm going to do these. I'll do a couple of tarot and I'll do a couple of these as well. Okay, so what's to come of these changes? No, we're trying to tell me there's this other body, and it does make sense. The moon comes over, it closes off our ability to be able to see the sun as just a blinding light, and we see the energy. So those that are coming are going to help us see our true, authentic energy, because they at least come in front of us and show us a new reflection. Maybe that's the gift that's coming too. Okay. So what's to come of these changes? Some of these changes. Ooh, that's a bit dark. Okay, and okay, come up these changes. Okay, we're gonna have to go through a little bit more work. It's okay, it's okay. This thing, even though it's a bit more work, that's still to come, it's going to release so much more when we start to get this. So we have the Ten of Swords. So this is an absolutely like seeing what happened, like literally going back into the past and, oh my God, that person stabbed me there and that person stabbed me there and la la la. This is confronting us to just keep ourselves close, like, because it's like a okay, I see. We're in this energy of no man's land, and we can flip from one to the other. So when we do go back, we're going to feel like we need to just stay close, keep ourselves protected in this vulnerable time. There's a time where things should move, and there's a time where we just need to sit still for a while and protect ourselves. See, she's protecting that which she's grounded. So there might be something that's happening in the outside world that's going to show up, the end of something. Okay. So the changes that could be happening is that humanity starts to see where they have been knocked down, knocked down, knocked down, knocked down. And then they get in a protective mode because what happens after that is a tug of war will happen between the two, the victims and the victims and the perpetrators. A tug of war will happen. Okay, let's pull some more cards out for that though, because I feel like this is just tapping into, this is the beginning of the end. And when it's the beginning of the end, it ends up feeling kind of like you see where you've been stabbed. You can't make a move into something new if you don't realize that what you've been going through was actually not good for you. So there has to be some form of looking back. These two cards came out next, the Ten of Wands. Like carrying a heavy load and understanding that you've been, like the majority of humanity has been in this victimized kind of state of awareness where they've been carrying the heavier load for others. All of their energy has been expended through this one path to help somebody completely that they don't even know get all that they want materialistically. When they turn inwards and drop all of this load, see, as the 10, they will eventually go, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna drop it. So if we go from the 10 of Swords of feeling, oh my God, look what they've done to me, I'm gonna have to protect myself. I'm gonna have to fight for what I really want here. I'm sick of carrying all of this. And then we have the strength. And this is not a strength, it's an outer strength. It's got a female figure in it holding this lion's mane. The strength is within us, and she loves the strength of herself. She loves who she is. So to find strength within. So if we're going over what's to come, the changes to come, there could be some kind of chaotic energy happening around the world that's going to look like a tug of war, but there's going to be an understanding that it's not the war, it's not the fighting that we need. It's the letting go of the fight, and just because through the fight has actually kept us focused on the fight, and then we end up carrying more and more and more of that fighting. And so when we just turn around and go, I'm letting it, I'm releasing it, we literally start to go, when you release all of that, right, you're going to feel light as a feather. You're going to feel like, oh, man, I've got all this new strength coming my way. So I think that's where it's going. It's like if you are in a higher awoken energy, though, you could see this, but you will be seeing it from an observer point. You'll feel that if you get entangled into it, that it'll feel too uncomfortable for you anyway. And so you'll probably go, you know what, I have to really come back to myself. I really have to know who myself is, and just hold my energy close to myself while this is happening outside. So if you can imagine something that's been in charge, and then it's coming, so the eclipse is literally it feels like the eclipse is the beginning of the end of those that are in charge. It's the beginning of the end. They're going to be called out. And they're going to be called out by those that have actually enlightened themselves, like shed all of that, done all the shadow work and stepped into their gifts and found peace within themselves, no longer needing somebody to tell them how to find that peace. They found it within themselves. Okay, so now I'll do these higher frequency cards and see what this says. What's to come from these changes that the eclipse has created through humanity, making these massive leaps into this new frequency? What's to come? I am so not surprised to see that one jumping out. Okay, what's to come? Tell me the story of what's to come, please. Whoa. So we have one fly out that way and one fly out that way. Yeah? Any more? One more that landed right in the middle. I like it when it happens like that. Okay, so we've got none of this matters. Holy crap. Okay, zoom out, common ground. Look how little this world is. When we zoom out from it, it's just when we see our life for what it was, none of that I just said matters. None of it matters. When you come from a perspective of the observer, it's like the story was the story and it had to play out that way. So you get entangled into it and thinking that you're making it, you're helping it by being entangled in it, is actually fueling it. You stepping away from it and becoming the observer of it is letting the story play out and just accepting it. And that is going to make a big difference from your perspective on how this all plays out. So you're not becoming the story anymore. You are in the void. You're in the blackness, and you have then all possibilities in front of you of what's to come next. And that flew out. I thought it was only one card, but two cards flew out. Lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. And that was on this side. So here's the left side. This is the right hemisphere. And this to me, and I don't know if this is reversed, I think it is, but this to me is the left hemisphere. So anything unaligned must go in this for these this is what this next change is going to happen. You're going to keep on aligning yourself with what feels good, what feels good, what feels good. And it came out with empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. See, so we're starting to realize that when we're empathic, we feel more. And if you're empathic and your logical mind is in charge, then you take on everyone else's outside world and then you see it as your own. But when you are empathic and you have you have your balance within yourself and you're controlling your logical mind, then you can use your empathic ability to actually have gifts, to come in as gifts. But just be aware that the more layers that you peel, like some people are born empathic, but if you were not empathic and then you do the shadow work, you become more empathic because you become more open to feeling more. And so you are becoming more and more empathic as you go along. Be aware that you are not taking on other people's worlds, other people's realities as your own, because that's it's like an empath gone wrong, where they're empathic and they feel a lot more, and then they've got this program pulled over their eyes to say that everything outside of them is how they get their information. So then they end up entangled into everyone else's stories and coming home and feeling really tired and all of that sort of stuff, where a true balanced empathic would be to know, to come from the love of self, know where the boundaries are, and only feel into their soul and how they can connect to benevolent beings and Mother Earth and all of this other wisdom coming through. So that's to come with a lot of people as they're waking up. They're going to start to become more empathic and more attuned, but then that has to have that logical mind dropping away so that they don't get entangled in other people's stories. And the one that fell in the middle, that was upside down, we are Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So right in the center is the birth card. Now, if I'm going to take this as that card was the right hemisphere, these cards were the left hemisphere, then what's in the middle? Our pineal gland. And it is the birth as a portal. We are now, not just me being able to step into my pineal gland like I did in that vision quest. We are all going to be able to step into the pineal gland, which then opens up this reality to so much more excitement. And those that you think could be in control of you can never be in control of you, because you're in tune with source energy. Source energy is everything anyway. It's this whole beautiful story that we've created. Material, tangible, etheric, feelings, everything is source energy. And so when you are that, it only comes from your perception of your decisions and your decision making and your choices that you make that creates the next step. And if all possibilities are in front of you and the only thing that's stopping you is the limits of what your soul's lineage has gone through, you can bring through all these other lineages of what your soul's gone through and go, well, how about I ground this story instead? And would that feel good for humanity in this body with this reality, this programmed reality that we've wanted to embrace or bring in more love into? So there's this whole opening. So that's what's happening, is that this eclipse is actually shifting us into understanding more about who we are, connecting to our soul, and who we are connecting to the logical mind as well. And there's nothing wrong with the logical mind when it's put in its place, because logic will ground the dream onto this planet, ground it through you. And so it becomes a physical, tangible thing, and it slows down enough with enough love involved in it, becomes an actual physical substance that you can work with. So I don't even know what to say there, because it could be anything. And it's how things are birthed into this world through love. So, yeah. Wow, that was full on, a lot more fuller on than I thought. Got into a lot of in-depth energies there. I think I will leave it here, guys, because we've done pretty much an hour. Don't forget, I do lives on Tuesday, and depending on times and constraint, I can do also free chat bar readings at the end. I just want to fulfill the obligation that I had first, and then see what time's left. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there, and I love you guys heaps. Until next time, bye.